There can be only one podcast, and may it be the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks. I'm Matt.
And I'm Wes.
Welcome back. Hey.
We got an action-packed episode.
We have an action-packed
episode. This is not
episode.
going to be two guys sitting around on a bar stool eating pretzels.
Not yet, at least.
Not yet.
So a long time ago, we were in a small town. We had a hockey team called the Moccasins.
An independent
hockey team that just was there to play. It was unique. It was something we hadn't seen much. Hockey wasn't a big deal.
Hockey in Louisiana is
Not happening.
Not happening.
Yeah. So I was there first night. I think you were too when they opened. Yeah.
Yes.
It was big. It was packed. It was energy. And I went a couple of times. I was like, wow, this is huge. This is great. And was it 3 years or 4? How long did it stay?
3.
3 years. In its 3-year run, I was there toward the end too. Not that I was a diehard Moccasin fan, just because my buddy had bought season tickets and his wife said, I don't want to go anymore. So he said, do you want to come? I said, every night, because I didn't have anyone back then. I was like,
sure.
Absolutely. So we'd go Wednesday nights, Friday, Saturday nights. That's how I spent my thing. And I remember we had the little rally towels, we'd cheer, they'd lose, they'd win. We'd sit and talk about whatever, it was just about sitting there visiting. And I remember one day I looked around and I noticed there was really no one there. Mm-hmm. And I said, I wonder how much longer they can keep open with. I said, I wonder how they can stay open if no one's coming. Because I said, I remember when this place used to be. I mean, I used to hate it because I was getting crowded in, so I'd wait till but over time, the crowds just died down. And I mean, there was no one. It was just a sea of empty seats and just a few people, 2 people here, 3 people there, 2 people over there, one person there.
At best, it was hundreds.
If they could get 100. The last time I remember going, because I don't know if there's a last. I think their last game was an away game that season. But their last home game, I remember looking at it, I was like, I wonder how much longer they can keep this up with low crowds. And I mean, we were stretched out above, bleachers. I didn't mind.
Yeah.
But, and then, of course, they announced they were closing. So sad times all around. Some Moccasin players stayed. 1 or 2 stayed. The rest of them left, went on, did other things. Just recently, the Moccasins have returned. Now, these are the new and improved Moccasins. They're part of a league. They're not independent now. Is that true? I don't know. Someone told me that they're now part of an official NHL minor league club like baseball is. I have no idea. This is how much I don't know hockey. I would
have to assume it's a farm league of a farm league.
Okay,
because
farm league of a farm. Okay.
If it was any tied to the NHL, I would have assumed they would have more of a presence than they have.
I don't know how minor league works. Minor leagues in baseball aren't really contracted under Major League Baseball. They're their own thing too.
True.
Separate thing. So, but either way, I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs, but I was told this is not the same Moccasins, not the independent Moccasins. This is a league of, I mean, obviously if they're here, everyone's aspiring to be in the NHL, duh. But this is a league play thing, different from the first time is what I heard.
I'm sure it's more Bull Durham than.
And I hear they've got familiar faces back.
Yeah.
Yes. Did they find your sister? Did your sister find them?
I wish I could answer that question.
Okay.
But as we've detailed in this podcast, my family tree is rather dead.
Okay, got it. There was a time back in the day. I remember do you remember this? She came in up and asked us at the store. They were doing a Star Wars night. And what should be the giveaway? Do you remember what we told her?
I don't remember this at all.
We told her, she came up and she said, hey, we're doing a Star Wars night. I want to know, you guys are Star Wars fans. What's a good giveaway prize?
Yeah.
And the Star Wars Encyclopedia had just come out. The big dark blue one. I said, that's a nice prize. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
And so she picked one up at Walden Books.
Okay.
And that was the prize given away. And we went that night to see them play on Star Wars night. We did not win it. But then again, it was just Star Wars night. I think we got to rattle around a lightsaber or something. I can't remember, but I remember we went.
Okay.
I'm glad you have memories of this. Anyway, so I was...
Sorry, Cuckoo.
No, that's all right. It was surprised to see her back. I mean, I'm happy. I'm not upset that she's back, but didn't even know.
I am equally surprised.
I can't. Okay.
I am perplexed on how this happened.
Okay.
On the last episode, I referenced Dusty Rhodes saying, once you take your jersey off, it's hard to get your jersey back on. And I don't know how this happened.
Okay. Same position as she had before, too. Okay. Anyway.
I cannot
love it.
validate any of that. I just know that she is involved.
You have a sister who is involved with the Moccasins. That is the extent of your knowledge.
Correct.
I should have known. I should have known.
I'm sorry
That's all right.
that this is going as good as you thought it was going to go now.
It's gone better. It's gone better. I thought I was going to hear her say, well, when they did come back, I did end up calling her and asking her and how things were. I thought that was the story. But no. Pete Rose sticks to his guns.
Thank you.
Okay. So anyway. If you could have brought her over tonight, we could have visited and talked and asked questions. That'd have been, wow. Think about that podcast.
That is a different hot wing challenge.
I know it's going to get that. All right, but anyway. Okay, so they're back.
Yes.
Is the point. Have
Yes.
you been? I have not been.
have-
I've been busy with the show.
I have not been, unfortunately. I do want to go.
Same. I do want to go to a game.
My girl wants to go. So we both want to go for sure.
It's fine.
I was more interested in hearing on how the infrastructure was on night one, because the last event that I went to at the Civic Center here was a WWE event, and we were stuck outside for 30 minutes because there's not enough infrastructure to support thousands of people coming in that place. And I heard similar stories from good friends of mine that
correct.
could not get to their seats until the end of the first period.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is foreshadowing.
Yeah, and the thing is, there is hiccups to be had, but the thing is it getting smoother or not? And I am hearing the same reports that they're excited. People are excited to have the Moccasins back.
Yeah.
Some of it's nostalgia. Some of it's like, hey, we got a local little team to support. And
Yeah, man, let's go do something in our town. There's not a whole lot to do here, so I'm definitely for going to games. But I can tell you this, I'm also old enough to not get caught up in that kind of stuff again. Like, I had a terrible experience with that wrestling, and I'm concerned that the Civic Center and whoever is running that, the city or whatever, just does not have the infrastructure to run it.
they don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the planning. You could make things easier. You could. There are ways. Either that's setting up a faster way to get those tickets scanned and get people through the door. Either that's coming up with more ideas of ways to enter and exit. Also of running it, because I do hear there's issues internally too during games too.
I'm
running
sure.
It. And so,
Well, the coach was fired after the first game.
there's got to be something else there.
Yeah, I agree.
There's got to be something else there.
Yeah, that seems like an angle.
He was. They called him drinking at the game. He was drinking during the game. Maybe. I mean, it has to be something.
Yeah,
big.
it's got to be some kind of
Yeah.
like major.
I don't believe that they lost and they fired him first.
No,
off.
I
That's
don't
not the
think.
case.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There's a
more
story behind
to it.
that.
Yeah,
But here's the deal: the city, begged and pleaded. They worked. There's tax breaks involved here. I'm sure there's some. They've been over backwards. But you're exactly right. If you do not have the infrastructure and you did not plan, you were the one asking for this. They were not saying, "Hey, would you like?" I mean, maybe they did. I don't think so. I think they said, "Hey, we want a team back. We want. What can we do to get y'all to get a team back?"
I
think
doubt
that's how the
that
story
out of
went.
throwing a dart across the United States, they landed here on purpose.
Yeah, there's no way they said we want to come here.
They went to them and, like you said, wanted to utilize everything that they could get out of it and offer them a very pretty package.
I bet it was a lucrative deal, no
lucrative
doubt. And
deal.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
No,
being
I'm
made.
glad that they
Yeah.
did it. My concern is that building has not ran well in years, and the current workforce management that they have in place, I don't think can routinely run events smoothly.
They have never been known to run events smoothly. It needs to be. There should have been preparedness training ahead of time, more planning. None of that was done well. The people in charge of that civic center are bad. And here's the thing: if you're right now, everyone's going because it's new. So you don't have to advertise. You don't have to work. They're forgiving hiccups like can't get into the first bit, which is awful. But guess what? Come a couple of months' time, you're going to have the same people going, you know what? It's just not worth going.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice.
So my
that
question
kind of
is, and I'm happy to have them back, but what needs to happen? Because okay, let's talk about the infrastructure first off. Infrastructure, yes. Getting people in and out. Training people better. Okay? Because I hear there's people who didn't know what they were supposed to do. They were supposed to stand here and do something.
I'm sure.
And there's a lot of miscommunication, I heard, from people who have helped. There's volunteers who are helping, and the volunteers aren't being trained. The thing is, I get it. You get volunteers who are just happy to say that they're with the Moccasins staff, and they get to help out with the lights.
It's great. I mean, I can remember helping out when it was originally here. We would go out and we would like throw shirts out at end of periods and stuff.
That was fun.
And
you get free tickets to the game.
My good friend Cass worked a lot, and we did a lot of different stuff out there. But at the same point, I don't necessarily think that was a good idea. It should not have been ran that way.
No, it's getting run that way again, though, because they don't have the money. But the other thing is, if you asked for them, you should have known you had to staff up. You should have known you had to prepare. And are these complaints getting to the right people?
Well, I mean, the infrastructure. I mean, who is the infrastructure? God forbid you bring people on that haven't done things like this in decades and insert them into prominent roles. It's about like me and you putting on a pair of Jordans and say, let's go hoop it up. Cold, no stretching.
Yeah, no stretching.
Guess what's going to happen?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the way it is. But it's too much to ask of someone or people without that level. I mean, sports is ran totally different now.
I agree. And the thing is, though, if we can support, and here's the other thing that aggravates me, if we can support a Moccasins, if we can show that we can handle them, if we can show that we have crowds, first off, okay, so the admin, the logistics of it needs to be smoother. That's one thing. But let's say they fix that problem, okay? They staff up, train better. What else needs to happen? Because if we're good at it, you could be attracting other sports here. Now, nothing major,
Yeah.
But I'd love to have a minor league baseball team. That's my ultimate goal.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
But, I mean, that's way down the road. But I'm just saying.
I just think that the Civic Center overall, to attract events, like we are in a D-level city. Like if bands are going around,
agreed.
You're going to hit. You've got New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Shreveport. I don't know who's before Monroe. If anybody else is,
what's sea level?
I would say sea level is Shreveport.
Okay, it's fair.
Because I say Lafayette is B, and I say New Orleans and Baton Rouge are your A towns.
It would be your A towns, and then a few other ones would be B.
Yeah, but the Civic Center would be D level, and if you have a D level infrastructure or a building. I mean, the Civic Center has not been remodeled. I
No,
don't. I
it's
can't
been the
even
same.
imagine what it takes for internet.
It's been the same for decades.
Yeah,
It's not changed.
Yeah, yeah, and I just don't know how well technology is in there. And plus, if you do not have a good infrastructure of people that have done things successfully,
That's the key,
and have a proven track record that you can turn the keys over to the castle to, you get scrambled eggs.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, hopefully they haven't put the nitwits in charge of something that's so important, because if they can make this work, there's other opportunities. But I agree, you have to have the competent people in there to make it happen. So let's say they get that, but how do you keep the energy level? Obviously, the team has to win, but even if they lose, there's like, what's the team in Oklahoma? Thunder. They get great attendance. They're in the middle of Oklahoma, but Oklahoma doesn't have any other teams. So they go anyway and cheer their hearts out.
Oklahoma's minor league baseball.
It is true. And College World Series.
That's Omaha.
Oh, that's Omaha. Never mind, that's Nebraska. Yeah. But anyway, the thing is, though, how do you keep the interest up? Because in 3 years, do you think it was an infrastructure problem the first time around?
I think whoever had the money ran out.
Okay.
And I think there was a lot of bad business.
Okay.
Not that I know that.
Oh, okay. Allegedly.
I know that there was quite a bit of controversy with people in higher up positions that people that are not even no longer on the earth.
Oh.
So I think that it was ran very
poorly
out of their pocket. So I don't think that that's what's happening. I really think this is not just a Moccasins problem. This is our city's infrastructure with this building. They don't run enough events, so they don't have the wherewithal to put any kind of finances into getting people in here. Sometimes you got to do good to get more rather than get a bunch of stuff and figure out how to run it.
We do balance the deficits here. We do have some surplus, not enough to pay for a new civic center. But let's say we rebuild one. I don't know if we have the competent people to run. You know what I'm saying? We're running around in a used car. A new car with the same driver is not going to make me feel happier. You need to have the competence in there. Yeah. You can shine up an old car and make it look a little bit of a classic and be all right. Like a little bit of face paint, little bit, bit of
like renovation. They say a new coat of paint on things.
New coat of paint on things, and that would suffice for what we have. But it definitely needs a new coat of paint.
I mean, I think they'll make it through this year.
They will, based on it being new, but what to keep it around?
Hey, man, it's like anything new in sports. That kind of stuff coming and going. It's like the XFL. You can put a bunch of money behind something, but if it is not ready to go, it ain't gonna go. And I feel like I'm not saying the team is the problem, and I'm not even saying there is a problem. But I can tell you this, if game one, you got hiccups to that degree, and the last event I went to that had thousands of people, which was way bigger than a Moccasins game, was scrambled eggs. You can't get a beer, that kind of stuff. You're not going to, why do that?
But I'm just saying, why put themselves through this now? Because now they're just going to fumble the ball again, look like clutches. I would love for them to stay. And I don't want to repeat the problems from the past. I think it's like it's an unhealthy relationship where someone says, "Look at everything I do for you, and this is what you do for me." I think that's the mentality of the Civic Center. Is we're going to get something here, and nobody wants to come out here. Well, it's because the experience is rotten. It still looks well. I mean, the Civic Center is still from the '60s.
Well, I'm not even talking about
no, I'm aesthetically
that level, the aesthetics. Yeah, I'm talking about you get to the door or you get to that building and you're like, why are there this many people waiting outside?
Oh, well, I know that's inexperience then.
Why do you
employees, management, they fumble everything. That's true. And that ultimately comes down with, I don't know how many complaints have to be issued. Mayor can change that. Fire, wipe them out, bring in new ones. But especially if it's something like, if I'm happy that I worked so hard to get the Moccasins here, I would be crowing about that. However, if I'm hearing bad experience after bad experience, if it was
I
me,
brought the moccasins here, I would say, show me the infrastructure.
you can talk a good game, but you can't walk it. So
Yeah, show me.
But when I
Let's
start
go.
seeing it,
Show me what you're going to do. Not paint buildings, not put up banners, not a new Diet Coke ad on the
I
on
agree
the
with
scoreboard. I mean, show me your team. Show me their experience. Show me what they've done.
Yeah, I want to hear game plan. I want to hear backup plan. I want to hear, have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? What about this? What about that? How much staff do you have going? What
I mean, I
happens-
hate that I can't sit here and give you experience this year.
No, I mean, that's
Unfortunately, I would like to be able to really give you a detailed rundown because I do enjoy going to things and having the opportunity to have my expectations met and exceeded. And I just have not heard anything close to that.
not. And what's worse is that was opening weekend. That should have been your one moment to just hit it off. When you go into a restaurant that just opened, sometimes if it's a chain restaurant, they bring people in who are not local. That's why you don't see the people that you saw the first time, because they weren't from there. They brought their top people in there. They bring their top chefs in the kitchen to teach the other chefs how to cook. And so because they want your first experience to be awesome. Because if it is, and they hand the keys off to the new people, the locals, suddenly if the food is bad or the service change, or you'll give them a second shot, because that first one was just so good. But they got to nail it on the first landing. It is so important. It is so important to get that first impression.
You walk out there and you go, this is the same old crap it always is.
And sadly, hopefully, now the excitement's still up.
Yeah.
People are still going because it's new. But just like when you open up a new Dairy Queen or a new whatever restaurant here, fast food restaurant, the lines are backed out for about 2-3 months out into blocking traffic.
I don't
and
think
then no one goes anymore.
I don't think this should be looked at as fast food.
No, I'm just saying the newness of it is going to wear off for the moccasins.
No, I agree.
And then they're going to be in some trouble.
And
You're saying it's just infrastructure, correct? They fix the infrastructure, they're good.
I think a lot of it is Civic Center budget infrastructure. If you've got a building that holds 4,000 people and you're expecting a crowd of 2 and you're running your staff level at the capacity for 4,000, then yeah, it's a waste of money. But if your staff level is at 2,000 and you've got 2,000 people coming in and you're not really sure about everybody because you are running it at half because you weren't expecting that. Like all that chopping things up is why lines back up.
True.
And when people drive by that Civic Center, they go, hey, I wonder how the moccasin turnout is. Don't tell me people don't do that, because they do. You drive by and you see a bunch of people in line and the game starts at 7 and there is a line out the building at 7. You go, no thanks.
Yeah.
No thanks. What am I paying for? To go stand in line? Pass.
Not fair.
This is Amazon Prime 2024. This is not 1997.
True. Get with the times.
Expectations. Everything has changed. And if you cannot do it, don't even try, because you just look worse.
I agree with that.
This is not about, well, we did the best we could. That is not the best you can do. That's the minimum you can do.
Yeah. And if nothing's changed, then people are going to find that out very quickly. You're not going to be fooling people for very long. We had an arena football team at one time. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Were they the Bayou Bears?
Bandits.
Bayou Bandits. Megan was a cheerleader.
Really?
Yes.
Well, does she have any behind the goalpost talks that she shared?
I don't know. She had a lot of fun, at the games and whatnot. I never went to a Bayou.
Neither did I.
Okay. So I was wondering if the same thing happened to them. They were even here that 1 year maybe. What? Mm-hmm. They didn't last very long at all. So I didn't know if the same structure or whatever. I just know that the first time around there were crowds, then there weren't. Management issue.
I think that we have a town that could easily support the idea of this hockey because people are starved here for things to do
Yes.
that do not revolve around
Just going out to eat
their
and watch
kids' lives.
Yeah.
They don't go out and watch movies. You've done enough podcasts
Yeah.
on that. Revolve around their kids' lives or go to church. That is really what you do in this town. Any kind of extracurricular entertainment, people are starving for it. But they're also smart enough. I'll put myself in that as a consumer to go, let me see how this goes.
Yeah.
You know, if I miss game one, no big deal. But because if game one is bad and game 7 is no better, I'm not going.
That's true.
Why go? Why go? It's not the money, it's the experience is terrible.
If the experience is terrible, then why would you keep doing it?
You know, companies have learned this bait and switch of Black Friday. We've got 28 of these TVs that we're going to open.
Right.
This stampede of people. They don't do that anymore.
No, they're done
It's
with that.
bad business. It's lawsuits. It's bad press. And when you have Facebook Live and you go, hey, we're outside the Moccasins. We've been waiting 45 minutes to get in, and the game's 15 minutes in. You can't go to that and say, well, we're working things out. It shouldn't be that bad. I'm just saying it should not be that bad.
Agreed. So, would you give the Moccasins 3 years? Less? You seem to be not very hopeful. Which is fine. I'm just asking your opinion on this.
I'm looking at strictly from a business
standpoint.
I'm not looking at it from anything else other than that. I think that the opportunity to do well is here. Will they be able to turn it around? It depends what happens this year. I think that whoever is the financial person is like, we're locked into 2, and we've got an option for years 2 and 3. And if it runs poorly, and your attendance is in the hundreds in game 17,
which I feel this year they'll pretty much carry decent crowds. Next year is when I think it'll start to fade.
I'm just saying this. Years ago, when we did things, you could not immediately find out how great it was.
And now you can.
You can.
With social media.
And there's the opposite of finding out how great it was.
And everyone's going to complain more than compliment. That's true.
Yeah, it's just the way it is the way things go.
True.
You know, and I'm not saying this because I read random people's post on Facebook or whatever. I talked to people that are good friends of mine, that are professional people, that are business people, that are blue collar people, that said it was scrambled eggs.
Well, that's a problem then. I did hear from one set of friends who went that there was a little bit longer line than they would have cared for.
Shouldn't be a line.
And a few things. I agree.
Soon as that puck drops, everybody
should be in.
And you can't say, well, people are always coming in late. If there's people that stood out there 30 minutes before the door opened and you've still got them sitting out there because one door is open into that facility, and you've got this Mickey Mouse TSA way of doing things, it's a joke. You're going to a professional game, lack of a better term. This is not checking out at TJ Maxx.
Agree. So the Civic Center doesn't work for the Moccasins. Does Moccasin management? Do you think? I don't know. You don't know anything, but Moccasin management is not. Who's behind getting?
I'm saying this: if I owned a team and said we're going to play in this building, who's running the building? I want to know who's running the building.
I mean, yeah.
Because
Because you got to be able to work with them, let them know they have a
Yeah,
plan.
because even if you own the team, you've got assistants and people that are at these games kind of checking it out. There's always somebody
your
watching
job
you.
is to attract people to become fans of your team, get the season tickets, follow your, get involved, get in the spirit, become fans.
I'll say
But
this.
if the experience surrounding them is bad,
I'll say this. If they wanted this to succeed, why was there never anything posted about, hey, we're looking to turn the Civic Center around. We're looking for some new faces to come in to bring some new ideas into making this successful.
okay. So
Don't tell me successful companies do not post on Indeed.
that's true.
Come on now.
Got to get.
This is not 1997. This is not, hey, I know a friend of mine. That is not the way this is going to be successful.
That is true. That is true.
You may know a guy that does a podcast, but that's about all you're going to know.
Hire that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, folks. Well, let us know. Hey, are you around a place with a small market team? What is it like there?
Right.
How long have they been there, and what is it like?
Yeah. I mean, I think that there has to be gimmicks, obviously, because you're going to have gimmicks to get people in on Wednesday nights, but you have got to have a good experience Friday
Period.
and Saturday.
Period. Got to.
Waiting in line is not a good experience.
Never has been. All right. All right. Well, thanks for that. And folks, we'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe.